She's really talented, not only talented, she's an expert in her domain. So you will discover from she herself was, as far as you have a female, a complete her the queen of safety. Yes, she really deserves. She really deserves to be called queen. So there 3 minutes past 6. The class is yours. I know that you always have a lot to give them. So without much ado, I will grant the house to you so that you can continue. Okay? So if you are around, the class is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am sorry your network is crackling. I'm not used to that from you. I hope my delivery will be in better state.
Yeah, class, kindly mute yourself.
It was just a person coming in. It's no problem. We are used to that from the Zoom app. We've got people coming in and it takes a while before the muting starts hitting. So we're used to that. Miss Zoom user, I called you Cardi C yesterday. What is your name actually? So I can change it.
Good evening. My name is Leticia Tewia.
Leticia, such a beautiful name.
Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian.
I hope.
I once renamed her Jeffster yesterday, unknowingly, before you rename her Cardi C. So let me name her Leticia.
I have written it like we write this in our area. I don't know if that was a correct spelling.
Mine is Leticia.
How is it? L-E-T?
Leticia.
Okay, understood.
All right, thank you.
So as somebody doesn't know how to change his name, and change it for you, like this, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, it's just otherwise we'll call you Cardi. Huh? Okay, Mr. Vicaliamo. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Let's see, it's 7:05. Maybe we can wait a little bit more. I don't know. I know I have a lot to tell you.
It's up to you. It's up to you, yes. Provided we finish on time.
I actually want a whole weekend. That's the minimum that I want with you. Actually, come to me 2 weeks. I want to have 2 weeks. So start a petition. I want to teach you everything I know. Okay, so I'll start with the bits that normally I cannot tell because of time. If it wants to share, I'm sorry, I'm quite I'm going to off my video. So my name is Els Willems. You see I have a lot of things here next to my name. I worked for a Japanese car brand for a long time, the European Center. I've worked for 22 years for Subaru cars. Then also as a prevention advisor. Into Pharma is actually a company I worked for that does the, how do you say that, the government of laws on packagings and events for pharmaceutical industry. So all the things that you can do with medicines and so on, how you can advertise, how you are allowed to advertise, what you are not allowed to do, how many samples you can give out even to doctors and so on. It's very regulated in Europe, even though it's a billion industry. In America, for example, there is a lot more of under the table things that happen. Maybe I should take a sidewalk here, because I notice in my husband's home country, which is Nigeria, it's my country now too. I noticed that there are two networks, namely the pharmacists and the chemists. And the chemists also are distributing pills, but they actually didn't study for it. So they are chemists, they can make pills, but they do not have a medical background. And there is also a lot of fake medicines on the market and so on. So I beg you, please, if you take medicines, and don't take them lightly, make sure you got the right person prescribing them for you, and check the packaging on things like spelling mistakes, open packages, color differences, and so on, specs, things like that. Yoke is an energy company. I started, but that was nothing for me because that was mainly sales. This was for renewable energy, which I have worked on some projects with Nigerian, Zimbabwean companies for solar energy as well. So that is one of the things I did. I also have an education as a life coach, which I rather call a personal supporter, because the coach is like, you have to do practices. No, I listen to you, and we look for the best way to find your way. You will do that, and I will support you. That's why I rather call it a personal supporter. I did a lot of writing. I'm still doing a lot of writing. And nowadays I work for roadside assistance for trucks, Scania trucks, we are also having colleagues in Kenya and Johannesburg. So also in Africa, we help drivers that are stranded with Scania. Would you be so kind to mute yourself, please? Thank you. I don't know, maybe somebody coming in as well. And if my computer would start to do what I wanted to do, we can go to the next page. As I said, everything you say will be held against you. I told you yesterday, if we can hear what you are eating tonight, what you are cooking tonight, we will come chop. So, why? So this is a mission for me. I sleep and breathe safety, and anything you do with a passion, you should do with, you should breathe and sleep. You should be busy with it all. Yesterday, Mr. Richmond said something about watching all the apps like TikTok and so on, and YouTube and so on. I am all for watching those things, learning, seeing what you can, but in the capacity as, for me, safety and health professional. And I'll elaborate more later. But it's a serious business. It's about people's lives, and COVID is a perfect example of that. We all celebrated the nurses and the doctors who actually helped a lot of people that caught COVID or are getting other diseases or injuries. But we are there to prevent the most people from getting injured or harmed or infected. Because that is what we did during COVID-19. We were the ones saying you should keep your distance, you should wash your hands, which we have been saying since, I don't know, since the beginning of soap, I guess. You should wear a mouth mask and so on. That were the health and safety, occupational health and safety, and health and safety in general professionals that were saying that. So the pressure was not all on the doctors and the nurses. They had it tough enough with the people who didn't listen to us. And this is one of the things as safety and health professionals, how we make people listen. And I'm going to talk more about it also, because I think a very important part, and you I guess you understood that. Meanwhile, two of our work is working with people and communicating with people. So this also association course, we try to give extra value. We try to share our experiences and so on, to help you achieve excellence, because it is important for us with our mission, with our calling, because we were given this job by God, and God wants us to protect all of God's creation for the people who want to take it a religious way. We are here to protect them. It is important that we teach you to be to stand strong, to have a firm base, so you can work from there on, and that you have people and a network to rely on. That's what OSA Association is all about, to keep that positive flow going, to keep that excitement going, to keep that learning going by talking to one another, because you can learn from anybody. It's even a 3-year-old you can learn from. As a teacher, and I've been a teacher actually for most of my life, not a teacher, but a life teacher, a coach, a personal supporter. I, at a certain point, had to get out of my ego and just accept that I am a very good teacher, and that all my pupils excel because I am so good at teaching. So if you want to do me a favor, be better than me. So if you don't, I told you this again, if you don't understand something, write it in the chat, ask it when it's asked to ask question, and ask until you get the answer on the question you were asking, because sometimes a question, people are so extremely different, extremely unique in focus, in thinking and so on, that sometimes we focus on a different word than you wanted to ask the question for. So it may be another word you wanted the answer for in that question. So if we are answering your question in the wrong focus, please redirect us to where you want to go, so you have your answer. You have paid good money, or you didn't pay good money. I mean, it doesn't have to be money. It's energy you put in here. It's time you put in here. You got data. You are using data, so you are using money anyway. So we wanted to make it valuable for you. We want you to go home with a satisfied feeling, like, okay, I spent all these means and I got something for it. It's really necessary for us that we can give you that extra value. Now, passion is a very important thing in anything you choose. It could be that's what the last sentence is about. If you decide, well, safety and health is not really for me, it was interesting and I learned a lot and I will improve my life for it, which I surely know you will do, but it's not the professional way I want to go. And as our student, my apologies, sir, I forgot your name, yesterday asked, why is it only in multinationals and so on, or where can I go to? I'm in environmental studies, which is connected to it, because it's literally mentioned in it. Anything you need health and safety for. Because as I said, if it's making toys for kids, or if it's doing somebody's hair or nails or something, or just filling out the bookkeeping, it's important that you bring extra value to your job, because you bring your passion. If you're not passionate about something, you will not do a quality job. So passion is very important. To give an example, if somebody is playing an instrument, you can be a very good technical musician, or maybe this is speaking more to most people, a very technical good singer that can hit those notes and so on. But it is so much more attractive if you hear somebody that is singing with their whole heart and their whole soul. And this is the thing you need to achieve. So if it is your kind of job or not, make sure you find out what your ikigai is. Ikigai is a Japanese word. As I said, I worked 22 years for Japanese, so I picked up some things. So the ikigai is actually the combination of your passion, your mission, your calling, and your profession. What you are good at, what you can get paid for, what the world needs, and what you like doing. That makes your ikigai, your reason of living, your reason of being here on earth, your destiny, your path that is God-given or whatever is giving it to you, universe. I am not here to judge what you believe or not believe in. So yeah, I'm from Belgium. I'm going to skip this part, otherwise it's just to make sure you understand we're a very small country. So it's a different way of developing things in our country than it is like in Nigeria or in Ghana, where the surface is much bigger. We are maybe, meanwhile, it will be 12 million people, but Nigeria, for example, is 212 million people. So that's the difference. It is hard enough, as my colleagues yesterday also said, you are not you should bring your knowledge not only in your company, whether it's about bookkeeping and budget managing, or it's about safety and health, or it's about social interactions. You should bring it in your company. Maybe it's your profession. And it's typical because I have a very good friend who is a bookkeeper, and when I told him, he was complaining about how to have enough money in his life and so on. And I said, but what do you do at work? You should apply that. You should bring that into your household, because that is the first area you are living. That is your private space. Is so important. If you're not 100%, you cannot give 100%. So you better make sure you're okay before you start doing anything else. And he said, I never thought about this. And this is the way it is. It's not that you're a professional health and safety professional at work. You should do that at home too, because those people normally, in most cases, are more dear to you than your colleagues, who you only have 8 days, 8 hours a day with, instead of the rest of your life. So I do need you to understand it's a different way of developing. It goes more rapidly because you have less people to please, and it's very difficult already to please a household, all the members of the household, with a decision which is the best for all or the best for most, which makes it very difficult for governments, and that's why it's going so slow all the time, this progress in safety and health, for example, or in the governance of the country, because there are much more people you need to take into account with, and it takes much more research to make better choices. So I do not believe that we can blame the government for everything that is going wrong, because it's a tough job. We need to recognize that. So in Belgium, our small country with too many governments and too many laws and so on, we have administrative overkill. I think we have a codex of well-being with, well, I didn't check what the latest number is. I guess there are some, like the lithium-ion batteries, hybrid, working on hybrid and so on. There are many more that will have been added since I made this this presentation, but it takes 10 books that are the 10 categories that they made it in, and probably more than 50, maybe 60 titles meanwhile, and electricity is included. But for electricity in 2019, they made a different library for that altogether, because a lot of things had changed in the materials they were using and so on. In the materials that they were using and so on, all the cables needed to be changed, and the outlets needed to be updated, and every house that was rebuilt or resold or rented to new renters had to be updated and so on. A very costful thing for the owners, because here the owners pay for those things, for the facility things, and you pay for the electricity, but they pay for the installation if you rent, which is a completely different development again. But well, it will show, time will show, and it goes slow. And I'm not a patient person, but it goes slow, and we have to accept that it will come to the right thing for your country, the right laws for your country, which I mean, meanwhile have definitely understood that not everything that the Western world does fits into a society, into societies in Africa. To give you an example, I know my parents are both teachers. Guess where I got it from. And they had some children in their classes, and the parents were development helpers, and I don't remember which one they went to, which country they went to, but the husband was the development helper, and she did some trading with locals and so on, which made them better, of course, and made her better, because if we work together, we all gain. But they had made a water pipe. They had laid a water pipe from where the ladies got the water every day in the village. They had to spend half a day to get the water from the well where they got their water from. So what white savior thought they would do is lay a pipe so they don't lose half a day. And the pipe was there, and it was working, and it was beautiful, and it was celebrated. And then after a month, when they came to look, how is it with the water, going with the water, the women were already going to the well again, because it's not only a practice.
Let it come from me, not somebody telling me. At this my age, somebody will telling me I should do this, I should do that.
Does somebody wants to take over? Okay. So it was not only a practical thing, it was a social thing too. And that is something that we need to begin, we should have understood it already, that the culture, which we are going to talk about in this lesson, in this session, that culture in Africa needs different things, and I hope that more and more Africans will understand it too, that they are allowed and should be themselves to be better, because Western culture is really not that well for mental well-being. Let us state that. All the Africans I know will return to Africa when they have spent here a while, because most of the time we are working. So we don't have time to visit everybody, to ring up everybody and so on. And this is a part of African culture, for example. So it's important that we understand that. So we have 7 fields of well-being in Belgium. There are many forms. There are some with 8, there are some with 5, there are some with 12. It is just a way of categorizing them to be able to have more control over managing them. So if you put them in boxes, you can take a box, you can start with one box, one note after the other, covering them. Then if it's just a pile, you get organized, you get more things done, because it's more satisfying to have a box done then have a part of a pile done. So we have 7 categories. As I told you already, in Belgium, we are all prevention advisors. We do not have authority. We only have advice to the management. So we go to the management, look, this is wrong in the company. This could be better. These are the examples of what we can do. These are suggestions of what we can do in different price classes, but all as good. And we have to make a choice because, which we will see later, health and safety should be dynamic, and it should be dynamic in a positive motion. So be lifted up all the time. And that is one of the requirements too for example, the standards. The standard has to be higher and higher ISO standard. If you want to go for that, Mr. Leon and Dr. Pierre from Cameroon, if I don't know if he joins this sessions this time, but they have a lot of knowledge because they're, well, Mr. Leon, for example, is in the standard organization for Benin Republic, so he has a lot of knowledge about these things. So safety, you know all about that, wearing safety shoes, for example, safeguards at machines, and so on and so on and so on. Now, hold on, I see something. I mentioned here safety guidelines. That also comes back. There are several things that come back all the time. Like health, we have biological agents, for example. Those are viruses and bacteria, for example. They come back in environment. They could be categorized in, for example, because environment is not only waste management, but also temperature and draft and air quality and so on. Those are several different things that can belong to environment. It depends on your perspective, your definition of that word, of course. But hygiene, for example, cleaning the Madam, would you like to take over? So hygiene, for example, the biological agents are coming back because we need to clean to keep our places neat. As I told you, there are a lot of bacteria and viruses on our phones, on our cell phones. We do need to clean the toilets, but on our cell phones, but also when we work, our keyboards, which we almost never clean. Dust and bacteria, and you sneeze and all the bacteria and viruses and so on go in between the keys, and next time you don't even bother, you wipe out the top, but then next time it will be more bacteria because they grew under your keyboard and you're using that, and at the same desk you are working with your keyboard. You do not clean before you eat your lunch. That's the risk. So if you're eating your lunch at your desk, well, which we had to do with COVID-19, then you will have to clean your desk before you eat, because there are a lot of bacteria around your phones and so on, your electronics. So your mouse, for example, computer mouse, it's important to declutter. You will see what the consequences of not cleaning up the garbage can mean on Friday with the fire safety, with our fantastic wonderful trainer. I adore him so much. He's a person that is packed full of wisdom. You shouldn't miss any classes, but especially don't miss the class on Friday. Ergonomics, the way you are sitting at your desk. Now, I told you I like movies and so on. This is why I put this movie here at the side, because this actually shows, this movie, you can see how ergonomics are handled. So Ray Kroc was the person that commercialized the McDonald's restaurant, because the brothers McDonald's are not the owner of the chain. They are just the owner of one shop. But this man, well, it's not this man because this is the actor, Ray Kroc. He actually commercialized it and made it a chain. But you can see the brothers McDonald's figuring out how to make the most French fries and hamburgers in the least amount of time. So they are placing everything in a certain way to see how many seconds you can make a hamburger, how many minutes you can make a hamburger. That's why it's called fast food, because they made sure they had the minimum of time. They only used the minimum of time to make them. So that's an interesting movie. I believe that people who say don't waste your time on Netflix and YouTube and so on, you cannot learn anything. I say watch it, have fun, and look at it as if you want to go in this field. For example, if you are watching a horror film movie about the return of the dead or something, you would say, but else, this is not a real movie. These zombies are not real. No, but there are humans that act without using their brain, which are who will stop for nothing and will still attack you, which are terrorists, for example. So if you know how to handle zombies, maybe that can help you to figure out what guidelines you should make to have in your policy, what if terrorists are attacking us in our company. So ergonomics are not only about speed, but especially, and there is most of the time the emphasis on how you use your body. As my colleague said yesterday and the day before, there is this value to a person that has been working for years in your company. If you have to replace such a person, you need to educate train a new employee who maybe doesn't have any experience, so needs to learn everything. The time that your experienced employee made 100 of products, your new employee will make 3. So and besides that, you need somebody who will show that new person how to do it. So you're actually using the time of another employee to train that one. So what we want to do is protect and this is one of the things you use when you are convincing your management. What you are using is that if you lose an experienced person, you will lose 2 instead. So to replace that one, you will lose another one, because that other one is training the new guy who doesn't have any experience. And I'm sorry, I'm starting to speak Dutch within. So even when it's a person that has worked before in the same field, another company has different ways. Health and safety is not fit for all. It's tailor-made. You are making your policies, observing what machines you have in the company, what structure, what goals you have in the company, what people you have in the company. Because, for example, if you have women working in your company and not only men, you may have to have more tools to lift things. You have to make sure that you have a policy. What are they going to do when they get pregnant? Because they can work. They are not handicapped when they are pregnant, but they should do lighter work. What if somebody has injured himself playing ball this weekend? He can't lift anything anymore because his knee is hurting, so he needs some rest. You put him on a desk, you give him different work. It's a dynamic thing, and it depends all on the people that work in your company. You do not only have people like that, you have people that are in a wheelchair, for example. who can work. It's not an objection to work. If you sit on your desk, you can sit on a desk chair, but you can also sit in a wheelchair. So that is not an objective. A blind person can take the phone, can talk on the phone like no other. I had a printing company, that was a deaf person that was working there near the printing machines. He didn't need any hearing protection because he was deaf. But he needed, for example, if there was an alarm, they needed a light alarm. So you need to adjust your safety and health to the company you are working in. It's not a fit for all, it's tailor-made work. So we want to respect the body, and we want to find the best way to keep the body at work in shape. Because if we have, for example, a worker in construction and he has back pain, he's getting a little bit older and everything is going a little bit less supple. We need to encourage him, for example, let a trainer come that trains you for having a lean body and muscles. That what you see here below is actually exercises to strengthen your back, which is a very important thing. This is called the Superman. You can do it in your bed. Do it every day 5 times. Your back pain will disappear while you are lying in your bed. No problem. Do this. Hold this a few times. Let's say 5. It's not much. Just before you go to sleep, do 5 times the Superman. Or when you get up, before you get up, stretch your body to 5 times the Superman, and you will feel it after 2 weeks. That ache in the bottom of your back, it will disappear. I swear. I give you the guarantee. If you do it, if you commit to that, in 2 weeks, your lower back pain will be gone. But this is an important thing when you are sitting on the desk all day. 8 hours, 10 hours. I'm sitting at the desk more than 9 hours a day. So for me, we have movable desks that can be lifted up so you can stand at your desk, for example, which is important because you should stretch your body every hour or something. When you are a driver, you should be able to stretch your back, your body every hour, every 2 hours at least. If you're watching the screen, you should sometimes look away from your screen. Look at the distance, for example, so your eyes do not get too tired from watching the screen. You can put blue screens and so on to make sure you do not get too much light, which is human-centric lighting. I love it so much because it also relates to sleep, and I love talking about sleep. Sleep hygiene, very important thing, and will affect your work too, as much as human-centric lighting actually. Beautification. People are spending 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours at work. You should have something that makes them feel comfortable. And this is it's a very old movie. If you know Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. This is the lady that actually had the original. And she says that Whitney sings it better. Is Dolly Parton, the lady with the big boobies. It's an excellent movie. It's an old movie. And it was already about health and safety at work. It's a funny movie. You should watch it. And if you don't, that's fine by me. I shouldn't tell you what to do. It's just a suggestion if you like movies like I do. So have some plans, have some nice colors. You know, there is a whole theories behind colors. For example, if you have red in a room, they did some tests. I read some books long time ago, and there were some tests, for example, with racing horses. If they were in a red painted stable, they were very nervous because red is a very vibrant color. It comes towards you. If you watch red, it comes towards you. Then you have the yellow color, which is vibrant. It will be in the same place, but it will be shaking, vibrating. That's the yellow color we perceive. Then you have green. And why do a lot of people like green as a color? Because it's a stable color. It doesn't move. It is a very stable color. And then you've got blue, which retracts, which is a favorite color of a lot of people. So it could influence how the production goes at the office if you introduce different colors in your office. Also, just allowing people to have a photograph of their family, because that is actually that actually is the reason why a lot of people go to work and work hard, is for their families. So it's a good reminder. It's a motivation that you allow them to bring to them. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to check who's making this noise, because it is really disturbing. So this is one of my specialties together with ergonomics. This is my biggest one, actually. I've been studying people all my life, psychosocial aspects. Why are people doing what they do and saying what they say and feeling what they feel? That's my, I'm intrigued by people in that way. And I've been doing it all my life. My mother has stories from before I remembered how I was talking to people in the park as a toddler and so on. There are maybe some things you haven't heard about. You've got stress. Stress actually is a natural thing. It's not good or bad. There is too much stress, and there is stress that you perceive in different ways. You can perceive stress as a negative thing, but you can also perceive stress as a positive thing, because it's a natural reaction of our body to overcome a hurdle. So that is why people lift cars when their loved one is under it. Even small mothers, they will lift cars if their child is caught under is stuck under a car. They will be able to lift cars. That's the effect of stress. We need stress. If stress wasn't in our life, nothing would be done. Stress brings out hormones like adrenaline and so on. And that adrenaline, for example, also, because you need to go on, will strengthen your immune system, for example. That is why people will get sick when they do not work, because they had the extra protection of the stress hormone, of the adrenaline in their body when they were walking. When they are on holiday, finally that extra protection goes away and they get sick, because not because the stress has effect on it. No, the stress was just the extra vitamin to keep them healthy, but now the stress is gone and they get sick because their immune system is low. So if you want to enjoy your holiday, maybe you should take care of your body, eat healthy, and get enough vitamins from the food, preferably, not from pills, because they are all chemical, of course, and industrial. You should only take that if you need to take that, if you really have a deficiency. Drink enough pure water. Pure water, because there is a lot of water around, especially in Africa, and the reason why 80% of I think it was 80% or 85%, I don't remember, of the people in Africa have the H. pylori bacteria in them, is because of contaminated water, and that H. pylori bacteria that will cause ulcers. It sounds familiar, I guess, for African people, that you have a lot of ulcers. Well, H. pylori is one of the possible reasons you get ulcers. So burnout is when you have too much, when there is too much pressure, when there is more job than you can take, than you can handle. Then you've got bore out, for example, is the opposite. you are how do you say that? Under motivated, because the work you have is not challenging enough. There is not enough, but there is not enough to make to motivate you. If there is just the right amount of stress, you will go for it and you will work. If there is not enough work, it's like, I can do it later. Then you've got presenteeism, and this is an important part in safety and health culture. Presenteeism and absenteeism. Absenteeism means that, for example, and I hope this sinks in when I say things like this. Absenteeism is like the child that doesn't want to go to school because he feels bullied by other people or by his teachers, always called an idiot and so on, and they don't want to go to school anymore. Just like you have that at work. If the pressure is too high, you've got people, I've got them at my working place as well, and we've got a very stressful job. If the pressure is too high, which we in my job cannot predict, because it got so hot, it went like, our calls were like 400 calls a day, instead of like 200, it doubled. And a lot of people got sick, just not because they were sick, because their immune system is low or something. No, they just got overwhelmed and they stayed home saying they were sick, they were feeling headache and so on, because they were stressed inside, stressed too much inside. So the other side of that is presenteeism. And this is when people come to work scared of losing their job. Even when they are sick, they will go to work. So that is psychosocial aspects. So teamwork, also very important, belongs to that. If we work in a team, that's much more pleasant. If we can work in a team, again, cooperation, everybody wins. In competition, there will be at least one loser. Most of the time, all people lose, but that's just my perspective. So health and safety culture, as I said, what is a culture actually? Yeah, this is already something else. Hold on. How do I go back? Okay. So what is a culture? Culture is actually, how can we define it? Like, you've got a society, and what most people think is the right thing is the thing that your culture is. So if most people think, if I stay at home, my bosses will fire me, because I'm sick, my bosses will fire me, so I will come to work, because I think otherwise, if they have to fire somebody, they will fire me first, even if I'm sick. Even if I'm working only 10%, I will go to work because they will fire me if I don't. That's a culture. Also, a culture is like, you've got a person that doesn't want to come to work. This is a different thing. That doesn't want to come to work because they don't want their colleagues to catch the same illness as they have. Maybe they have contaminating illness, and they don't want to come and have the other people get sick too. Because a company is like a system, like a chain. Everybody in a chain is important, because if the chain is not complete, then it's no system anymore. Our bosses need us as much as we need them. We need them to give us work and to make sure that that we get our paycheck, and they need us to produce things for them. So if one or the other is a disappointment, something is going to go wrong. So in a chain you have weaker links, and if you make the weakest link stronger, the whole system is lifted up. I said this before. So it's an important thing, culture, because you work with people, and you work together, you work for people, and you work with people, and you work for people at home, and so on. So there are 4 major characteristics, and they are dual. So you've got positive and negative, and then you've got proactive and reactive. Negative and reactive is the thing you will not want to have, because it is not pleasant for anybody, and there is no progress. What we want is a positive environment where you know that the management will say like, oh, you're feeling unwell, please stay home, get better, and then come back. Because first of all, do not make the other colleague sick. That's the yeah, I'm quite sarcastic. I don't know if everybody will understand it here. So that's the thing. And secondly, if you take rest now, then probably in 1 day, 2 days, you'll be better. If you come to work now and force yourself to work, then you will be home for 3 weeks because you got iller, you got sicker. I'm sorry, I have to drink a little bit. And then you've got reactive and proactive. So that means reactive means, an accident happened. How are we going to take measures so that that accident doesn't happen again? And proactive or prevention means that you're going to look, oh, that seems dangerous. There is something, this could happen. And we've seen it happen in other companies. So let's make it not happen here. Let's take measures before an accident happens. That's a proactive attitude. So important factors in this are communication, the communication between everybody in all functions in the company. Responsibility, we are all responsible for safety and health, and proactiveness. Before we escalate in our conflict, let's talk about it and let's see if we can find a way out. That's proactiveness. So the atmosphere, as I told you, is actually based on belief systems, and belief systems is something that sometimes you're not aware of. So life is a journey, and we will be confronted with things that we learned from our parents, even not learned by words, but just by seeing that actually when we stop and think about it, it's like, why are we doing this way? What was the reason? Is there a good reason? And you're analyzing the belief system you have. Like I have this friend that I was talking about in Nigeria, who was a bookkeeper. Who is a bookkeeper. He complained about all the bugs in his house. And I told him, because I was visiting him, I told him, I said, yeah, but you are leaving your plates out from yesterday. Yesterday we ate and you didn't do the dishes. So now it's full of flies and bugs and so on that came because of the smell of all the leftover, the smears on the plates and the dirty dishes. And now you're complaining about the bugs. I told you yesterday, let's do the dishes. And you, no, we'll do it in the morning. I said, why don't you do it in the evening? Then you don't have that problem, or less of a problem. And he said, just like he sometimes realizes when I tell him things. So, yeah, I just do it because my mother always did it like this. And then he changed. Because he realized it's not bringing him anything good to leave his plates out. If you wake up and the house is clean and so on, not that I'm my mother is the clean person at my place. My house is always a mess. So I am clean, but my house is always a mess. So those are just things that we sometimes don't think about. Just like I had this colleague, and just as I said, sometimes they want to come to work even though they have a bigger problem. She has 2 daughters, and one of her daughters was ill, small daughters. And she said, I had a note, because that's the way it goes here. If you are sick, you have proof of a doctor that says you are sick, and you can give it to your boss, and your boss accepts it because it's confirmed by an official doctor who cannot lie, who is not allowed to lie. So she got a doctor's note that she had to take care of one of her daughters who was sick. And after 2 days, she had another note, but she said, I'm not going to use it. My daughter is still sick, but I am so afraid of losing my work. Well, with the Japanese, I was the prevention advisor, and I told her, you know them. They are not very social. They don't show emotions, Japanese. That's a different culture. That's a cultural difference. So, but I knew them because I worked closely with them. And I knew when she would say, you know, my daughter is still sick, and my doctor gave me a note, gave me an attestation that I should take care of them, of her 2 days longer. They would say, oh, okay, no problem, take care of her and take care of you, because that's how Japanese people are. And they wouldn't have a problem with this, because they know if you are not 100% and you're absent and not focusing on your job, you're not going to work as good as all of your children are okay, and you can concentrate on work instead of thinking about your children who are sick with somebody else, or maybe alone at home. You are not concentrating on work. I know not everybody has children, but I'm sorry, I'm a mother. I will refer to it a lot of times. So that's a belief system she had, personal belief system. It's not culture, but it is kind of culture, because in most companies that was, or well, still is sometimes the main thing. The fear of being fired when you are absent a few times is still very high. And especially in African culture, don't get me wrong, I very much appreciate and understand how it is for you, compared to us, where we have been already longer time in the system, and it still exists, that fear. I'm 49, she's younger than I am. So it's not a generational thing. It's something that survives, that you see from getting carried over from grandmother to mother, or to daughter, and man also, of course, because they work a lot. The focus with man is a lot, even as boys, on working and performing and so on. So it is a very important thing to be aware of how you are, in that sense, influenced, and what your belief system is, and if it's true. So communication is an important part of it. A role of supervision. So everybody has a role in supervision. I'm sorry. In health and safety, we have a role in supervision. Everybody, every single one of us. Whether you are a manager or a team leader or a worker or the cleaning lady or, I don't know, the gate man, it doesn't matter. Everybody has a role in keeping the other person safe. Again, in the Bible and in the Quran also, there are all things like help your neighbor, help your fellow man, because that's a good thing. We earn our heaven by doing good for others. It's community. It's motivating. It's encouraging community, and this is what is important also in health and safety culture. I'm sorry. So what you have information is important. You should be able, as a gate man, to say that is something that is not safe. I'm going to report it if you don't change the way you act, because you're endangering me, you are endangering you, you are endangering the company, you are endangering everybody in it. That is how it should be, and that is important. Why you should have whistleblower policy. So if somebody, how do you say that in English? Tells on you, snitches on you. I'm sorry, I was looking for the word. They should be protected. If it's rightfully, if it's a danger to health and safety in the company, or health or the health and safety of the company, of course the management should listen, and they should protect these people who are reporting it, because they are reporting it because they want to protect themselves and their colleagues and the management and the company and their paycheck, because their family is living off their paycheck. If the company doesn't exist anymore, how are they going to feed their family? They're protecting a lot of people by coming out to this. I went up to my colleague and I said, this is a problem what you're doing here. I don't think it's safe. Can we talk to one of the team leaders so we can figure this out? And he doesn't listen. Go to your team leader, go to your manager, go to the safety and health professional if there is one in your company, and they will listen to it, and you will have to find a solution, and they will have to be discreet about who has told them. And if it's obvious, they will have to make sure that there is no reprimand. I'm sorry, English is not my first language, people. Sometimes it gets stuck. Involvement. So communication. What is our company doing? What are they producing? How much are they producing in marketing wise? Or is the company making profit? That's a motivational thing for workers to know, because maybe they get a raise or a promotion if they're doing well. The same thing goes for safety and health. If you are showing that you are doing something for the employees in your company and making their environment safer and healthier, they will say, these people really care for me. That's special. So I'm going to do my best for them, because they come up to me and they know, they remember my name, and they know my children's name or my spouse's name, and they are really genuinely interested in me and are really genuinely interested in caring for me, in making me safe and making me included also. So they're letting me, they're hearing, they're asking me, you are working here at this workstation, what should be improved? What do you think is dangerous here? Did you get some injuries, minor injuries, that we maybe can find a solution for? And you listen to those people, because they contribute to the facts, to the information you gather to make a better policy, to make a better installation, to take better measures in your company, because they are there with their nose on the work and what are the dangers and how do they handle it. Maybe there is a training somewhere. Maybe somebody can give a training how to work safe, how to prevent from getting your fingers caught between something that you make, that you're producing, or a machine that you're using, because they have experience. Why not? So you need to be able to talk not only to the management but also to the bookkeeping. They talk in figures, and you need to explain to somebody who is interested in football, and you need to explain to somebody who is interested in cooking, and you can make stories about them in the interests they have. But before you know you can do that, you have to have an interest in that person, so you know what interests them. So if you're talking about Barcelona and the guy doesn't like Barcelona, he likes Chelsea, you don't talk about Barcelona, you talk about Chelsea to get his interest, to make him listen. Because you know he likes Chelsea and not Barcelona. So for a lady who is not interested in football, or maybe there are some men, there are men too. I have a lot of men around me that aren't interested in football, that are, for example, interested in music or in cars or something. You adjust your words and your examples to them. But not only that, I told you about this worker that was deaf working in a printing company with a lot of noise. If there is a lot of noise around and you have ear muffs to protect your ear, or this person who is deaf, you can signal to him through lights, to different lights. If there is a fire alarm, there will be a red light spinning or something, so he can see, oh, we've got to get out, even though he can't hear it. Or the other persons who can't hear it because they are wearing ear protection. I had a cleaning man who was illiterate, so I had to explain to him what his job was, so I couldn't write it down. He was a Moroccan, limited French, and illiterate, so he couldn't read or write. So I had made instructions by pictures. What he had to do was in the picture, and like that he could follow the instructions. So this is what you have to do. You have to consider who you are working with. Maybe you have clients who are blind, who need instructions or information in Braille, in the blind language, those dots on the paper that they can read, not with letters but with Braille. So it's important that you know who you work with and how you make the people you are talking to understand. I want to tell you another thing. If you are talking, I gave the example of the bookkeeping, the bookkeeper with the budget management, that he didn't apply at home, but he applied perfectly at work. The same thing goes if you're talking about figures, if you're telling, because we talk a lot about statistics, if you're talking about a million SEDI, for example, a million SEDI, a bookkeeper can understand in the context of his job, of the company, but he has personally, for his personal understanding, he has never seen a million SEDI. So you don't use a million SEDI, you use a 10 SEDI or 100 SEDI. I don't know what is, if I suppose 100 SEDI can be common. So you adjust your words to the collection of people that you want to address, not only in words that they can understand, because we have to turn law text into understandable language for people so they can follow the guidelines. And it should be complete, it should be understandable, it should be something that they have no questions about it anymore. That's why it's complete, but it also should be not up for interpretation. So as you read it, you cannot say, yeah, but I found a loophole. No. You have to learn how to improve your writing so that it doesn't have a double meaning. So health and safety should be constantly improved. And it should be in an upward motion. It should be dynamic. It should be improved every day, every year. I'm sorry, because at least every year you will have how do you say? you will check you will check your policies every year. You will check your guidelines every year, because every year at least there will have been some changes. Maybe some other people entered your company, maybe you bought a new machine. Every time a change is there, you should make alterations to your guidelines to make it more appropriate to your company. So you do what they do in a lot of fields nowadays: plan, do, check, act. So that is a common thing that is in business like this. This is in health and safety like this. We plan, do, check, act. And we had, I think Mr. Richmond talked about it yesterday too, if I'm not mistaken. So as said, in the ISO standard, this is one of the standards. It has a standard structure. One of the rules is in every ISO standard that it should be direct. So the communications, communicating, and I fail at it a lot of times because my tone isn't always the way I want it to want to bring it to you, but it's a very important thing. Communication is a very important part of our work, and it's not only the words that you speak, is the tone of your voice. Like, I'll teach you something biologically true. Man biologically cannot hear the high tones. This is why they have difficulties, and it's not a joke. I swear to you, it's not a joke. It's biologically proven. Of course, we're speaking about the average man and the average woman. So men do not hear all high tones. So if you as a woman, or even as a man, if you are shouting, if you as a woman come like with a high tone, man can biologically not understand you. So lower your voice, speak in a calm tone, and everybody likes you better. Not only man will understand you better, but also women will be calmer. Everybody will be calmer. Children will be calmer if you speak in a calm voice. And because think about yourself. I'm going to say one thing. If somebody shouts at you, your ears go shut. Is it true or is it true? If somebody is shouting at you, you are not listening anymore to what they are saying. Also, if somebody is calling you an idiot or stupid or anything like that, you stop listening. It's automatic. It's all of us. So if you start shouting at somebody, you can be certain they are not listening anymore. If you call somebody an idiot, or what are you doing, you stupid, I don't know what, they will have stopped listening, because you don't respect them. Why should they respect you and listen to you? So this is a very important thing. You should know that you're working with people. Think about how you are reacting to people that do this stuff, and you will know already very much. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment, and put my video on. Where is my video? Here. Okay, I'm going to do something. Spotlight for everyone. Okay, so not only your words do that, but also your posture. If you are talking to somebody and you see them standing like this, they are not focusing on you. If their feet are not in your direction, they are not focused on you. If they are standing with their arms open next to them and looking you, I'm going to put my glasses off because they are reflecting. I don't see shit now. I'm sorry. If they are looking at your eyes and your mouth, and they are altering in any pattern, that means that they trust you. People speak with their body constantly. I'm gesticulating. If you have somebody who's shouting at you, and this is called rapport. If somebody is shouting at you and you respond in a very calm way, they will calm down too. It's a superpower. People learn it. Learn about people. Learn about people's behavior. So I'm going to go back. Can somebody remove the spotlight here? So I'm going back to my training now. I just wanted to show you something like that. Some of that. The thing also, if you are talking to a person and the person is telling stuff like, yeah, in the weekend we go visit my mother-in-law, and then on Sunday I go to football. And there you heard, did you hear what I did with my voice? When I'm talking about football, my voice went higher. And while I was saying something, my voice went higher and my eyebrows went up. You cannot see it now. But that is what people do if they are talking about something that they like. I didn't go that way when I was saying that I was going to visit my mother-in-law. But in the afternoon, I go to football. And I like it very much because I go there with my son, Angelo, and with my daughter, Angel. And you know, if you remember those things, important to them, Angelo, Angel, football, mother-in-law, not so much. This is what they do in business. You can use this knowledge also in your communication with people, with explaining them why they should listen to what you are saying. You are gaining their trust. If you gain people's trust, and you do that by speaking their language, again, language. I don't know much language, but if you learn to say thank you in the people, Nigeria has so many languages. If I say ndewo, no, everybody will go like, this person is speaking my language, it's so nice. Learn to say hello and thank you and how are you and goodbye, and they will be so overjoyed, especially thank you. I've worked with Polish colleagues, and sometimes I say dziękuję, which is dalu in Igbo. I'm sorry, I don't know Yoruba and so on yet. I'm currently learning Russian and Greek because I have colleagues. I do not have colleagues that speak those languages, and we have clients that speak those languages. So I want to learn them. So I don't have the brain capacity for learning Yoruba and Hausa also. But sometimes I do. I pick up some words and then I forget. I'll get there one day, I swear. I'll be a true Nigerian. So enough about communication. But yeah, no, too much information will get you an overload and don't know what to think. I'm giving you a lot of information, and probably a lot of you think, I don't know what she said. If you're asking people after this class, maybe there are some, I have no idea. I will have to read through the notes, through the slides when I get them, because I don't remember anymore. That can happen. I'm giving you a lot of information, and then your brain is going to mix things up and so on, because maybe like the students here, maybe they didn't hear much of those things yet, so they are not compartmentalizing, which you are going to learn on Friday also a lot about this information, so it becomes a conspiracy theory. But therefore also, this is a tip. Next time this course is being held, you are free to join. You have joined this course, you are invited to every next course we are holding about this, to come and listen. You've got people, motivational speakers like, I lost his name now, I'm sorry. These big motivational speakers that go to the same course every year. Why? because in the time of the year, of a year, or even in a month, if in 3 months you join this class again, you will have grown, you will have learned different things, and different things will be retained by you the next time, because your mind has grown. You pick up things you didn't hear the last time, even though the class would be exactly the same, which with me it won't. But okay, I still have time. I'm always worried if there is noise. It's like leadership, very, very important. Leadership. This is something I struggled with when they told me, like, yeah, you are becoming the prevention advisor in this company. And I was like, how am I going to do that? I am just the general secretary. Nobody's going to listen to me. Yeah, can listen to me, but I don't have authority. So how do I do that? So I'm a woman also. Who is going to listen to me? Even in the Western world, when a woman says something, most of the time, it's talked over, like happening here. So how am I going to do that? How am I going to make them listen? This is something recognizable for every woman in this classroom. I swear, man, listen. If a woman is saying an idea in a group of people, none of the men will have heard it. And then because of auditory memory, a minute after that, a man will say it, and all the men in the room will have heard it and will say, that's a good idea. Nobody heard the lady. It's just the way it is. So I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Leadership. I have to find out about leadership. And I was looking, and all I could find was how to be a leader and not a boss. But I was not in the position of the boss. So what I discovered by researching, how am I going to be a leader? How do I make people listen to me? I discovered leadership is inspiration. The function you are in is not the important thing. It's to become a leader, to become an example, to become somebody who does what he preach, practice what you preach, that helps people, that doesn't look down on anybody, that doesn't rule with fear, but inspires people and helps them develop instead of calling them idiots. So this is something that you can do even when you don't know these people. Because my hero, since I was 10 years old, I told you I'm now 49, so that's almost 30 years. I discovered him when I was 9 or 10. So he's a very inspirational person, and he didn't know me, but I saw him and I saw what he did, and some things are bad. It's still human. He's not a god, but most of it was good, and he changed so many people's lives, and for the better. And even the president of America, I was 10 years, and even the president of America cannot do that. And then we didn't have a person like Trump even. So I told myself, I want to be president of the world with other presidents of the world, changing the world into a better place for you and me. No, I'm sorry. But that was my example. And even though Nelson Mandela, he didn't know me, he inspired me. For me, he is my leader, my main leader, and he doesn't know me. So you don't have to know, you don't have to have contact with these people to get inspired, and that is true leadership. So that is what you do also on a smaller scale in a company. You make them trust you. Yeah, that's actually the good expression. Okay, I'm stuck again. Because to me, and I'm showing you all these texts so you can read it, of course, but you can listen at the same time. To me, actually inspiration and manipulations are related. Manipulation is something you do to gain something yourself, and inspiration is something that you do to make others' lives better, and therefore your life will be better and more rewarding for you. So the goal is different, but as I said, it's not really a goal. You become a leader. You choose to be a leader, and it doesn't matter that you are manipulated. Well, then in that sense, you are not manipulating a certain person. You are manipulating your environment. Everybody that sees you, that you come in contact with, you can, well, manipulate in a positive way, in a good way, make their life better, because you are authentic, you are true to your core values and so on. There are too many fake people in life, and I just said Madiba did some bad things too, but that makes him a human. If he was perfect, I wouldn't believe him, because nobody is perfect. Mistakes are part of life, and it's mistakes you learn a lot from. And unfortunately, well, in health and safety, some people lost their lives, so you don't have to. So we should not make the same mistakes. We should learn from others' mistakes also, and not repeat ourselves. Not be the negative culture that has the measures after the accidents instead of preventing to have the accident. And there are some things in life you have to go through. But burning your hand on the iron while your mother's warned you 1,000 times that it's hot, that you can burn yourself, is something different than falling off the 3rd floor or something. So it's an important thing. So hierarchical line in business goes from the top to the bottom. You have the top management up there. Where's my here is it. So you've got the top management, then you have the management, then you have the team leaders, and somebody is drawing on my presentation again, and then you have the workers. So you have the business supervision goes from top to bottom, but you've got the safety supervision, and that goes all around. Because if this person makes a mistake and this person sees it, well, it's unsafe, works unsafe, and this person sees it, then they should be able to go to this person or to this person to tell them, if they cannot talk to this person, to tell them, well, this person did this, and this is not with the guidelines and the rules of safety and health. So you become a whistleblower, but it's an important thing. Because if the one next to you is working unsafe and they let the machine explode, you're next to it, you can be hit too. And even if it isn't, you are the one that will see the other person die in front of your eyes, and you can't do anything anymore because you didn't say anything. If you see it, say it. Watch out, that is dangerous. I've got a team leader now. He's always sitting with his legs crossed or with one leg under his bum bum. We're kind of, well, we're always on the phone, so it's a different environment than a regular office. But I tell him, you know, you're going to have problems when you're at old age with your knees, because sitting with your legs crossed is a strain on your knees. So I am able to say that because he knows I care. I'm like the mother at the office. Some call me mom. So, but an important thing, when one of these persons is becoming so good at his job, or this person, it doesn't matter, one of the workers is becoming so good at his job that he promotes and becomes a team leader, then you need to add a training, because then you need to make him competent for the job as a team leader, because he's now not managing his job, which he does perfectly. He's now managing people who are managing the job. And that requires education. How to handle that? Are you going to be a boss who reigns with fear, who says, if you do not do what I say, like you have some parents, because I said so. Why, Daddy, why? Because I said so. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to scare you. They have no idea what they're talking about, because otherwise they would explain it like a leader. So this goes on your training needs list, because you have people that are now going from managing the job to managing people. They need to be able to do that job. This is already something I mentioned. If you tell, I don't know how it is in Africa, but a lot of Africa tell me, calm down. And I hate it, because I am calm. I don't know what, I am a little intense. You have seen me now almost, well, 1.5 hours. You've seen me the past days too. I'm an energetic ball of fire, lightning, boom. But I am calm. I am calm. You don't want to get me not calm, because you will know that I'm not calm. But saying that works like an aggravation to me. I will not stay calm if you keep telling me, calm down, stay calm, calm down. I will get angry. I will get nervous. I will start shouting. I will start shouting to stop saying that, because I'm going to hit somebody. It's not true. I don't hit people, but I'm just saying. Encouragement works better than punishment, but I want to make a side note, because if, for example, you are going to put, like you see in the American movies, I don't know why they do that, put up the picture of the most safe worker in the company and celebrate him at the end of the month, and maybe give him, I don't know, a small present or something. And for the 3rd month in a row, the same person gets that prize. The next month, all the other workers will not work to be the safest worker in the month, because it's Africa and it's nepotism, and you're never going to get it, because that person always gets it. And then it doesn't work anymore, these rewards and so on. So when you see people doing well, or receiving something that they earned, or maybe that you don't know that they earned, but they are receiving something nice, be happy for them. They achieved a promotion, be happy for them. Pay them a compliment. When you see somebody struggle, help them. It will be so much. It's not, they're not taking anything away from you, by the way. There is enough for everybody. It's just the situation. It will come if you work well and are dedicated and putting the effort in, and you talk to the bosses about it. You know, I'm doing the work. Don't forget me when there is a promotion. One day it will come, I'm sure. So, but if you see somebody struggle, don't make fun of him. Just, you know how it feels when you're struggling or you made a mistake. You're already beating yourself up inside. You don't need a person that's coming to say, I told you so, I warned you that this would happen. It's so hateful. Don't do that to other people. You don't want this to be done to you either. If it's a serious mistake, you get a correction, you get feedback. You get positive feedback, you get negative feedback, you get all feedback, but in a very nice and humanly way when you're a leader. And there should not be any classes. if there is an area like where you have to wear a hard hat, managers will have to wear that hard hat too. Okay. I'm not going to go deep into that. You can read this when you get the slides. So performance indicators is trailing indicators, and then you have I forgot the word. I'm sorry. What is happening here? Trailing indicators are near misses. That's the after the near miss, you get numbers of you do the same thing in marketing, for example, that you have the production figures and the faulty products and the sold products and so on. You have those numbers. You also have the numbers which will be in the yearly report for health and safety. How many near misses did we have? What are the plans for next year? What are we going to do to prevent those things? Because we have these trailing indicators. It's important to keep track. Important. Communication, administration, so important in our job. We need to keep papers or files on our computers for everything. For our statistics, for our guidelines, for our reports. When there is an accident, you make a report of what went wrong, what are the causes, and so on. You make an analysis, and then you are going to suggest measures. And this is actually the structure that you use throughout your career as a safety and health professional. So it's very important to keep track. If you give a training, for example, make people sign, for I have received this course and I have understood it, and you make people sign it. So when something happens, they cannot say, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to wear my bracelet when I was working at the machines with moving parts. I didn't know that I had to tie my long hair at the machine with moving parts or near the ventilator. So because it was in the training. So if it comes to a lawsuit, then you have protection against for the company against the employee that is trying to get money out of you because they didn't follow the rules. It's an important thing that there is a paper trail for those things, because you are not only protecting the workers, you are not only protecting yourself, because that's an important thing. For me as a prevention advisor, it's important for me to have proof that I have made the management aware and they have chosen not to follow my advice. If something happens and I can prove I advised the management that I have told them this will happen, if we do not take measures and something happens, I am not responsible for it, because I have a paper proof that is signed by them, because I will let them sign it, that they have read and understood what I have communicated to them, that they didn't want to comply with my suggestions or take any other measures. So they take the blame, not me. We are also protecting our managers, and that comes later in the thing, in the presentation, that the legal person is represented by natural persons. So the legal entity, which is your company, is represented by people in the flesh. And those people in the flesh, the representatives, the managers, or the silent partner, for example, they take responsibility. If because safety and health is criminal law, eh? So if you kill somebody, you not only have fines, but you could do time in jail. And the company is a legal entity, it cannot sit in jail. But the people that lead your company can sit in jail, and one of them will have to do the time. Or maybe all of them will have to do the time. What concerned the fines, you saw some figures yesterday, but it means, for example, that your company will be shut down. There is no production, nobody is making any salary or anything, nobody is making any products, the company is not making money, and they will have to pay a fine, like 500 euros every day, and not producing. Depending on the company's size, that can be very, very damaging. And if the company has to close because they don't have enough money anymore, all those people working there are losing their job. Families that those people fed will not eat. So as I said, this is a system, and we are depending on one another. That is the reason why everybody is responsible for health and safety. So leading indicators is when you are going to look for example, figures of other companies. How are they doing it in other companies? The other company has the machine we just bought in for 3 years. So what are the results there? What are the dangers there? Also your intuition, imagination, statistics, logic, everything combined. What forms our intuition, our experience, our memory, and so on. All these things combined are our intuition. Intuition will lead you to, because this is think work too. We think a lot, we imagine a lot. We are, as humans, very good in imagining the worst case scenario. So we have to use that worst case scenario. But for our own good, we also need to be able to be able to imagine the best case scenario, of course. But for our job, that worst case scenario is a good point to start. You don't even have to go to the office for that, or to the workplace, but it is better that you go to the workplace, because your imagination is just limited and you need more information on site. You need to see it. We had it when we had the COVID thing. Because you work together with the HR department, you work together with the IT department, for example. Those are departments you work closely together, or with the union, for example. You work very close together when making new guidelines. So my HR department, returning to the office in COVID time, yeah, we had some ideas, and we had a team meeting through internet before we went to the office. Then we went to the office, and then we realized we forgot so many things. What to do with coat hangers? Can we leave the coat hangers? Should we remove them? How to organize the way that people come in and that people go out? Who has right of way to go downstairs, or the people that go upstairs, and so things like that. You need to be on site. You need to see the real thing. You cannot just imagine. Even if you're sitting there every day, there are things you are missing in your analysis to make safety measures. So, but you use these things to actually you use these indicators to base your policies on and your guidelines on, and so on. So you can watch them. Benefits of a good, positive, proactive safety culture. You have fewer incidents, you have fewer accidents, which cost a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources altogether. Resources are time, money, energy, materials, tools, things like that, can suffer for even near misses. Reduced absenteeism, reduced presenteeism, which will favor the health of your workers, and also the mental health actually. Better recruitment, if people know you are taking care of your employees. People with higher education, I mean better educated people, abler people will come to your company. These are all things you can use for your management to become interested in safety and health. Reduced insurance, I know in Africa is not so important, but insurance actually helps. If something happens, then if they have a good insurance, the insurance can pay part of the thing that the company should pay. For example, we had COVID, and that was something we had no control over. There is this tennis tournament, I forgot the name. It's not badminton, it's one of the big tennis tournaments had an insurance for a pandemic, and they've had it for like 6 or 7 years. And if you hear about it, who has an insurance against the pandemic, then Wimbledon, I'm sorry, I think it was Wimbledon, had an insurance against the pandemic, and they had it for 7 years. And probably people were like, they're just throwing away money. Whenever is a pandemic going to hit in this day and age? And there COVID came. So they retained like 80% of their normal income because they had good insurance against the pandemic. Actually, the person that said, let's have an insurance against the pandemic, they should be promoted. So it can be a very important thing. But the more accidents you have, it's like car insurance, for example. If you have many accidents, you will have a bigger cost that you have to pay for your insurance cost. Your insurance will go up, your insurance will go down if you are so many years. If you are 20 years accident free, you will be at the lowest contribution you can get. If you have one accident, you get up a scale. So if you're 20 years and you have your driver's license, or 18 years and you have your driver's license, you will start at the highest contribution for insurances, and then the more years you drive safely, that price will go down. It's the same with companies. Safe reputation, as I said yesterday, if you're selling products, if you're selling services, they will, and you have a reputation of keeping your employees safe, then your clients will have more trust that you are selling safe products and safe services, and you will be more popular than somebody who has accidents all the time and a bad reputation in safety and health. So it is that far that some factories here, anyway, they have a scoreboard outside, and it says 120 days without an accident, and it motivates people to be safe. And it's like, wow, they are already 521 days without an accident. That's almost 2 years. No, that's more than 1.5 years anyway. So that is reputation. It's becoming more and more important to become a trustworthy brand, and being open and about these things, health and safety, and having a reputation of having safety and health as a culture for the employees will improve your image to the outside world. You will have better productivity and better efficiency and a higher morale. Because if people care about you at work, you will love to come to work. You will not be like, oh, 5 more minutes. I have to stay 5 more minutes. I want to go home. They will stay for 10 more minutes. A happy worker is a good worker. Because they trust you. They know you're in it for the right reasons. You're not just profiting from them. So those are things that you can explain to your management in a way they understand, of course. So I think I told everything about that. And reports also. You have the yearly report, for example, where you state what you have done. Yeah, okay. You saw this yesterday. The most efficient and where we start in the hierarchy of control is elimination. So if you have, for example, want to eliminate the dangers of warehousing, what you could do as a company is outsource your warehousing, and so another company is doing your warehousing. You don't have it in-house anymore, so you have eliminated the danger, the hazard. That's the most effective thing you can have. Any danger coming from that warehousing is not in-house anymore. It's eliminated. Substitution. You've got paper cuts if you work with paper, so or you can put everything on a computer, so no paper cuts will be had anymore. Then you have engineering controls. Engineering controls, we in Belgium call that also collective protective equipment, because it is an installation that keeps many people safe. So, for example, the compartmentalization that we will talk on Friday, I will not be there, unfortunately. I am so angry that I have to miss another one of John's lectures. Like fire doors, like a room where they paint cars, for example, where there is suction of the paint with filters and so on, that not everybody is exposed to that paint anymore. That workers who do not paint cars, they do not get affected by it, because there is a room for painting. That's an engineering control, because it's a structural thing that protects money. Administrative controls are fines, are guidelines, are rewards, can be rewards, like coupons or something. But those are important ones. Guidelines, user manuals, and so on. Trainings, also administrative control. PPE, we know, and we're going to have a whole lecture about it. Personal protective equipment. So personal protective equipment is the least effective because it depends on the goodwill of the employees, and therefore we use it last. Remember that a combination of controls should not have a negative effect on the effectiveness of the control. That's an important thing. So most applicable, least applicable, most effective, least effective. Goodwill of the employees. Because maybe you have to wear a hard hat, but this person just went to the hairdressers yesterday and paid good money to do his or her hair, so they don't wear the hard hat, for example. Another example, I know it's almost time, huh? I've got 4 minutes. Let's see what we have. Yeah, administration, we had that. What I will tell you, this is just a list I added that you can use for maybe checking which things you haven't addressed in your company yet, you should ask for help. You have to stay humble, but you also have to know you have had this course now already, and you have already more knowledge about health and safety than most other people. So don't be afraid to speak up. You have knowledge that other people do not have, but you can learn from other people. You will have to look for help also, because you're a human being. You're not a robot. You're not AI. You cannot know everything. You cannot specialize in everything. So get the right specialist to help you and do your research. Never stop learning. Yeah, those things, I'll leave it to you to, yeah, annual information, general info. I actually said it already, what it should include. Your future plans. Who is going to do it? What are you going to do? By what time are you going to do it? And every year it should be, did we make it? Did we achieve our 5 goals that we were going to do throughout the next year? If you are a company that has more people, it may be necessary to do that more regularly, because more people means more risk. So you will have to make reports, monthly reports, 3 monthly reports instead of yearly reports maybe. So don't go too far. There is something for people, for example, working in hospitals or in care, that you have this compassion fatigue, meaning you are working with so much misery, you are helping people so much, you see so much misery every day that you become depressed. That is what compassion fatigue is. So it's important for people in that kind of job, and I believe also in our kind of job, that you need to protect yourself from going too far. So you need to set a border. You need to set a limit to how much you are going to get involved. And then I have some interesting things. This is not a popularity thing. If you want to be popular, become a marketing expert. That is about popularity. Or a singer or a dancer or a movie star. Become that. Because health and safety is not about popularity. Sometimes you will have to make decisions. And this is what we call in my language, acting as a good house father. Meaning you make the right decision for the family, which in this case is your company. You are choosing for the best for everybody, not for what they want. You are focusing on their needs, not on what they want. They want, I don't know what they want. They want food every day, 3 times a day, and they want their hygiene products like pads. Paid for by the company and so on. Those are union things, huh? The ones are the union things. That's how I see it anyway. We are there for their needs. The needs is our priority. We are there to protect them, not to charm them with things they want, convince them with our fake love. No. We really love our people. We choose for their life and their safety. Sometimes you need to have, people have different focus. So for some people, like I said, the hard hat and the person with the hair. But in the end, it doesn't matter if your hair is just made, or you just made your hair, or you're a manager, or you're the cleaning lady. If you're not wearing the hard hat, and something falls on your head, you could be that, because that doesn't care. If it's your time, it's your time, and it will kill you. And if you're not loving your life, or well, and that's what we need to explain to people. That is about their life, and it's about the things they provide for their family. And it's not only money, it's also being there, being a father, being a mother, being a sister, being a brother. It's more than that. You love your family not because they bring something material. You love your spouse not because they bring something material, or your girlfriend or boyfriend. You love them because you love something about them that is not replaceable, that somebody else can get you money. So you don't choose based only on that. So you're important to your family. Your life is important. So I know you're focused on getting the best shots for Facebook. I'm old, I'm sorry, for Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, if you're dead, that will be your last picture. So we have to explain that to them. So you are here because you are chosen. You are the right person to be here. Whether somebody sent you, whether you chose to be here, you are here because you are the ones that need to hear this knowledge. It's no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. You will spread this. You will use this in your life. I'm sure of it. That's why I know you're actually very special people. You're the League of Extraordinary People, because you have to have a lot of skills in this job. You have to have a lot of interests. You have to have a lot of capacities, and you have to be humble enough to know that this is only some things you know, and there is so much more to know. But you also need to have the confidence to say, I know more than you about this topic, so I'm going to give you my what my take, and then you can add yours, and we will talk about it, and maybe we'll form a new conclusion. That is where innovation comes in, huh? So keep open-minded, and think out of the box, and be, yeah, like if people ask me in my job in my job in Subaru, when they ask me, what do you do in the company? I said, I'm a Swiss Army knife of the company. I do everything. I do prevention, I do insurances, I do car fleets management, I do translations, I do finances, I did everything. And this is something that only prevention even as all of these tools, needs all of these tools. You're a problem solver, even if there is a necessity. I had somebody who was more than 2 meters high in my company, and he needed to lift his desk, but we didn't have the modern desks, and it is very expensive. I know I'm going over time, but I want to tell this story, and I want to say something else. So what I did was I took my saw and I took some wood and I made blocks big enough and sturdy enough to go under the desk, so his desk would be lifted, and he, as a taller person, could sit in a decent way at his desk, and it didn't cost the company anything, because that was wood that I had lying around, and I have my toolbox here, my real toolbox with my saw and my hammer and so on. I make a lot of things. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of interests. So there are some tips I wanted to give you, but maybe that can be, I can add it in sneakily in next week somewhere. The only thing I want to add, I really want to add, is the fact that there are 3 ways you learn, and that's with repetition. That's what we do in school all the time. When we grow up in school, we did that all the time. Have repetition, and that's how we learned. Then you have admiration. So my admiration for Madiba taught me some things. So that's the way you learn. If you admire somebody, maybe you want to be like that person, and you will act like that person. You will change your behavior to be like that person. And then you've got shock. And this is something I love. You have noticed sometimes I say things like, wow, does she dare to say that? Yeah, I dare to say that because I know it works. I have a friend who works in a sugar factory. We make sugar of beets, not of canes, but of beets. It's my birth city, makes sugar, and he has been working there for a long, long time. And he said, yeah, all these trainings, safety and health and so on, and he's like, I've been doing the same thing he's a person like this. And then they invited somebody who didn't take safety measures into precautions. How do you say that? Anyway, and he worked at the machine and he lost his arm. And he was telling this story in front of these workers, in front of my friends. You know, I didn't follow guidelines, and now I'm sitting here and I don't have a right arm anymore. And that guy said, you know, any of those trainings as safety trainings, I don't care. But that guy, you saw him sitting in front of you. He was telling his story, and it was true because his arm was gone. That shock, and that teaches you too. So please use those things. So now I'm going to shut up because otherwise my Oga is going to kill me. No, not kill me, but punish me. Leon.
No one gonna punish you. No one gonna punish you. You know, I always benefit from your class also as a diligent student. I'm really happy. Each time I listen to you, I get impressed. And I believe the delegate also have the same feeling. So else, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity granted to the delegate. We are all this together and we know how to teach one and each other. But honestly speaking, on a serious note, you have been wonderful trainer tonight. No wonder you still remain the only queen of safety that we have among us. By the way, Alice is the only female trainer we have in our management team. I mean, the management team. We do have other trainers that are female, but elsewhere, but due to one reason or another, they are not. But in our management team, Alice is the only and the one, and she used to push and quick each one of us. So we are proud to have you. Thank you very much. Now we are having 10 minutes above the time, but I noticed something. Quite a good number of delegates are still online, 40 over 45, which is really interesting. Thank you very much. Now, what should we do? I believe all of you have made good notes. So what we're gonna do is, unless the deputy governor has something to tell the class, call the class to its end. Then tomorrow we're gonna start session 3. But do not forget, there will be a whole day for revision. So you can ask all the questions you want to ask. Kindly write them down so that during the day allotted for revision, overall revision, you can ask all your questions. Tomorrow we're gonna see with Engineer Itoi from Cameroon. So you have a really wonderful class as well as tonight was. So Deputy Governor Solomon Oluna, you have a word to address to the class before we conclude. Who else has given you people very wonderful things?
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, today's class has been quite impactful and wonderful. Like, I learned a whole bunch of new things. All thanks to the to Dr. Els here for the wonderful impact. I didn't see my governor here today for some reason.
No,
I don't.
he wasn't around. He wasn't around, and he have announced it prior to the class.
Oh, okay, because I joined late. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone that they quietly stayed here. Our mics were muted and we organized ourselves diligently today. But I keep seeing a particular message coming up on the chat box. When are we getting the slides? When are we getting the slides? So I don't know. Leon, you promised, was it yesterday, that the slide will be sent to us via our mail, something like that?
Look, I sent my things, which include a lot of things. You're going there. I sent nine files, so not only the slides but also some extras, like for example, like we talked about the risk matrix. I forgot all about it. So I'm sorry. Why is it small? So this is the risk matrix where we talked about. So if you are, I'm sorry, I'm adding something. If you are like paper cuts, they almost certainly happen if you are working with paper. But actually, having a paper cut, it's very painful but negligible. If you have a ladder, for example, you rarely use them just to change a bulb or something. But if you fall, it could be catastrophic. So that is the priority of that thing. If you're of that topic, if you have a ladder and you have a company that washes window, for examples, it's almost certain that you will use it, and it could happen. It's almost certain that or very likely that it will happen, that you fall off the ladder and break something, or it could be catastrophical because you could die. Then it's an extremely high priority. So that is how you decide which priorities you should set for your company. You make an analysis. So this is one of the documents I've sent, and they will send it in time. But remember, even if they send it in 2 weeks, the priority now is that you are learning your manuals, because in a week and a half there will be an exam, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the new schedule. There will be an exam, and that will be based on your manual. So it's important that you concentrate on your manual now, and that you ask the things. We give you extra information that you can use to understand those manuals also. You ask the questions that you don't understand from your manual, so that you can make your exam and succeed in a good way, in a way that makes yourself proud. And then afterwards you can look at the materials, but they will be sent to you. Don't worry. And if you didn't receive them in 2 weeks or something, you just go to the administrator and ask, hey guy, I know you can tell him to send me a message. I know that Els sent you the materials, and I put the manual engineer and manual in CC. So if they say I don't have it, no, contact me. I've said no. Tell me. I will send it to you personally. No problem. So you will receive it. Normally you can ask the administrator. They have received it, so they will send it to you.
Okay, thank you, Els. So having said this, you contact the admin. I think he's in Nigeria. He's gonna send it to your mail. But meanwhile, check your mail first. If you do not see in inbox, you can check spam and see. I believe everything has been sent. And as Els said, be focused on your manual. All the slides are just extra value. slide can be the content of the slide, not the slide themselves, but the content on the slide and the explanation gonna be useful to you every time. But your exam, you're gonna be assessed based on the manual you apply for. Okay. So thank you very much. So you bring the class to its end tonight. Tomorrow you're gonna be with other team. Unfortunately, I won't be around tomorrow for some reason. So tomorrow class gonna be also well established. May you all have a good night, as we pray that you sleep sound and wake up tomorrow in good condition. So on this note,
Sir, Mr. Leon, I have something to say.
okay, go on.
Sorry. Prior to the slide being sent, is it okay we take screenshots and maybe just like take screenshots of the slides to study ahead?
No, what I said, your exam gonna be based on the manual you receive. Then slide is just extra value that is adding flesh. Nevertheless, your admin in Nigeria will send you all the slides through your mail. Some have received, that is the first 3 slides we send, that is day 1, day 2, and today. Also they will send, because else have sent her own in advance. So one thing is sure, all of you are gonna receive the slide, either now or after. But do not say you are going to study slides. Rather, go and study your manual and revise the explanation. You pen down while each trainer was explaining. So your evaluation, your assessment will come from the manual, not the slide. Did you get the points?
Yeah, and the recorded version as well. It is. Those are the slides actually. So mainly focus for now on your manual. We want you to succeed. We want you to get this diploma. And I told you, you are now my family. I'm sorry, but I am here for you. If you need me, look me up and then send me a message, and then we will make it happen. It's like that. And tomorrow and Friday I will not be able to join either. Remember that Leon on Fridays he always wears a hat, so I would join him if I could. But I'm back next week.
Okay, thank you. So tomorrow you'll be with Engineer Itoi and the rest of the team. So dear class, thank you very much. You can now put your video on as we say hi. All pending questions are gonna be answered in later session, okay? So good night to each one of us and sleep sound. Those who are taking their dinner, enjoy your meal. Those who are about, enjoy your meal also as we see ourselves tomorrow. But definitely tomorrow, all of you will meet, except me, I'll be somewhere. So good night to you all. Good night, bye.
Good night, bye. May God be with us all.
Good night. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Night,
We really appreciate your presentation. We love you so much.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.